Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a story that might be familiar to some of you, but we're going to dig a little deeper this time, and it's Tolkien.
Oh, Tolkien, always a good choice. I mean, his works just have this enduring appeal, don't they?
Yeah, for sure. And today, well, specifically, we're diving into the Children of Húrin.
Oh, wow. Okay, now that's a story that's, well, it's powerful. It's really powerful.
Definitely. And we've got some excerpts from the book itself, some cool background on Tolkien's, creative process,
Yeah.
and even a little pronunciation guide because, well, you know, Tolkien.
Oh, yeah, gotta get those names right. It adds to the whole the immersion, right?
Exactly. It really does. So, folks, if you're ready for a story that's both epic and, well, intensely personal, then buckle up. The Children of Húrin is a journey you won't soon forget.
It's different from, Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is, well, it's epic, but this one's got this personal tragedy thing going on. It's like a family, like a whole family dealing with fate and curses and oh, it's heavy stuff.
Absolutely. It's like, watching a family drama unfold on this grand, epic stage. And speaking of the stage, we need to set the scene, right? We're talking places like Dor-lómin. This is where Húrin and his family are from.
Hmm.
Imagine a land. It's rugged, windswept, classic home of men.
Right, right. And then you've got Doriath, which is, well, it's totally different. It's an elven kingdom hidden away, all enchanted and ancient forests and magic, like glowing lights. And it's a big contrast to Dor-lómin. Tolkien really created these distinct places.
Totally. It's like he paints these pictures with his words, right?
Mhm.
And then there's Nargothrond. This is another elven realm,
Yeah.
but it's got its own problems, like internal struggles. So imagine a hidden fortress carved into the earth. Beautiful, but kind of dangerous, too.
Yeah, yeah. And we can't forget Amon-Rûd. That's where Mim lives. He's a petty dwarf.
Now, for those who don't know, petty dwarves, they're not your typical dwarf. They're kind of solitary and well, Mim, he holds some serious grudges.
Each of these places, it's like they add another piece to the puzzle. To really get the characters, you got to see them in these places with these different cultures clashing and all.
Right, right. It's all connected. The characters and the world, it all blends together. So let's talk about these characters, shall we?
Yeah.
We've got Húrin. He's a human warrior, strong, courageous, you know the type. And then there's Morwen, his wife. She's got elven blood, which makes her, well, strong-willed, independent, but maybe a bit distant too.
And then there are the kids, Túrin and Niënor. Their story, oh, it's just, well, their fate is kind of tied to stuff that happened even before they were born. It's a lot.
Heavy stuff, yeah. But these characters, they're not just simple heroes and victims. They're complex. Take Húrin, for example. He's known for being steadfast. Just imagine him like this unyielding force, a symbol of how humans can be resilient even when things are, well, awful.
And Morwen, with her elven ancestry, she's tough, but also, like you said, a bit distant. It's like she's carrying the weight of, I don't know, like ages on her shoulders. It makes her a bit hard to get close to.
And we've got others too, like Beleg Strongbow, a skilled archer, and Turin's loyal friend. He's an elf, by the way. And then there's Glaurung. Now he's a dragon.
Oh, yeah, Glaurung. He's not just any dragon, though. He's cunning, manipulative, and basically he's the tool Morgoth uses for his evil schemes.
And for those who haven't delved into Tolkien's world, Morgoth, he's like the ultimate bad guy. Think like the big boss of evil in Tolkien's universe.
Yeah, like the Satan figure,
Yeah.
wants to control everything, everyone. And Glaurung is his right-hand man, making sure Morgoth's will is done, spreading the evil around.
So the story starts with this huge battle, the Nirnith Arnoediad. It means battle of unnumbered tears. And let me tell you, it lives up to its name. It's a turning point because Morgoth's forces just crush the armies of men and elves.
It's not just a battle, though. This is where it all starts, the
Yeah.
tragedy. Húrin is captured, and he curses Morgoth.
Oh, yeah, and Morgoth, well, he's not one to back down, so he curses Húrin right back.
Yeah.
And not just Húrin, but his whole family.
And that curse, it's like it hangs over everything. It affects the choices they make, and it kind of, well, it sets them on this path, this tragic path. It's really powerful.
Definitely. And that's when Morwen, worried about her son, sends young Túrin to Doriath, to keep him safe.
You'd think, okay, Doriath's safe place, happy ending, right? Well, not so fast. Doriath is safe, yeah. But it's also where Túrin, well, he grows up. And his personality with that curse hanging over him, it starts to clash with how the elves do things. He's got this impulsiveness about him, and this pride, like almost too much pride. It's part of who he is, but you got to wonder, How much of that is the curse, messing with him?
Yeah, and that doesn't really make him the best guest in Doriath. He gets into it with his elf Saros, and, well, it doesn't end well, let's just say that.
That whole thing with Saros, it's important. It shows how Turin, he just acts without thinking sometimes.
Hmm.
His pride, his anger, they get in the way, and it leads to these awful consequences. It's like he's got this pattern. Act first, think later, and that never really ends well, does it?
Nope, it sure doesn't. And it just gets worse. When Turin leaves Doriath, he ends up with this band of outlaws. And these aren't your, Robin Hood types. They're not stealing from the rich and helping the poor. These guys are, well, they're desperate, driven to violence because, well, the world's a tough place, especially with Morgoth running things.
Exactly. And Turin, he becomes their leader, but even then, his impulsiveness and that pride, they keep getting in the way. He leads them into these dangerous situations, and things get pretty brutal, even though they're supposed to be fighting against Morgoth.
Look, he wants to do good, you know? He wants to fight the bad guys. But the way he does it, it just makes things worse for him and everyone around him. And the irony is, Beleg, his best friend, tries to bring him back to Doriath to safety. But Turin, he just refuses.
Beleg, he's like the voice of reason. He's trying to get Turin to see the light, to pull him back from this dark path he's on. But Turin's pride, it's like a wall. He just won't listen. And it ends up costing Beleg his life because the outlaws, the ones he was trying to help, they kill him, all because Turin wouldn't accept help.
It's heartbreaking. He's just spiraling down. And you just want to, I don't know, shake him, make him see what he's doing to himself and to the people who care about him. But I guess that's what makes Tolkien so good, right? He creates these characters. They're so flawed, so human, even in this fantasy world.
Yeah, that's it. It's those flaws that make them real, that make us connect with them, even though, we don't have dragons and dark lords in our lives. But we've all struggled with pride, right? We've all made dumb decisions we regret, so we get it.
Exactly. Now let's talk about Glaurung. We mentioned him before, but he's kind of a big deal in Turin's story. He's not just a fire-breathing monster.
Yeah.
Glaurung is smart, he's cunning, and he really enjoys messing with people, especially Turin and his family. Like, causing them pain is like his hobby.
He's like the curse, but in dragon form. He feeds off Turin's negative emotions, his anger, his despair, and just keeps pushing him towards self-destruction. And Tolkien uses Glaurung to show how evil works, how it gets inside your head. It's not just about like physical force, it's about twisting your mind, making you see things wrong.
And that's where Niënor comes in. Remember her, Turin's sister. She's been looking for him, not knowing about the curse and all that. But then she runs into Glaurung, and he puts a spell on her, wipes her memory clean, and drives her mad.
It's creepy, really. Glaurung, he doesn't just want to control them physically, he wants to break them mentally, take away who they are, make them easy to manipulate. It's messed up.
And it leads to this really, really awful part of the story. Niënor, with no memory, she's just wandering around, lost, and then, by some cruel twist of fate, she runs into Turin. Of course, they don't recognize each other.
And they fall in love, thinking they're strangers. But we know, as readers, we know the truth. It's like you're watching this train wreck in slow motion and you know what's going to happen, but you can't do anything to stop it. It's agonizing.
And the ending, it's just brutal. Turin finds out who Niënor really is, and the weight of everything, his actions, the curse, it all just crashes down on him. He can't take it. He kills himself. He just can't live with the guilt, with knowing that his choices and all those forces of, pushing and pulling him led to this. It's devastating.
It's powerful, yeah, but it's so tragic. It just shows how good Tolkien is at making us feel. We feel for these characters even when they mess up, even when they give in to the darkness. It's a testament to his writing, I think.
Definitely. And Morwen, we can't forget her. She's like this constant presence of grief, losing her husband, her children, her home. It's like a testament to a mother's love, how even with all that loss, she never gives up hope.
She's always searching, always holding on to this tiny bit of hope that she'll find her children. And in the end, she does find some peace. She dies in Húrin's arms, reunited with him. It's bittersweet, isn't it? And this is a story that's so full of sadness.
It is. It's like a reminder that even when things are really, really dark, there can still be these moments of, I don't know, of grace, of love and connection that are stronger than all the tragedy. The Children of Húrin, it's about choices, consequences, and finding hope when everything seems hopeless. It sticks with you, makes you think about your own life, the things that shape us, the choices we make when things get tough.
It's not an easy read, that's for sure. But it makes you think, doesn't it? About fate, free will, good and evil, all those big questions.
So we've really gone deep into the Children of Húrin,
Yeah.
the characters, the story, all those themes that make you think even after you finish the book. But, let's zoom out a bit. What about the bigger picture? Like, how did this story affect other fantasy books? And what about Tolkien himself? How does this fit into his whole world?
Well, the Children of Húrin, it's kind of a bridge, between his earlier stuff like the Silmarillion, which is all mythical and grand, and then the Lord of the Rings, which is, well, more, I guess you could say, accessible. This one, it's got that epic scale, ancient curses, whole civilizations at stake, but it also gets really personal, the characters, their struggles, their pain, it feels real.
Yeah, it's like he took those big stories from his earlier works and made them, I don't know, more human, more emotional. And you can see how it influenced fantasy, like the whole genre, that mix of epic stuff and personal tragedy, characters who aren't just good or bad, but somewhere in between. And then, of course, fate versus free will. You see that everywhere in books, movies, even games.
Tolkien, he knew how to tap into those things, the things we all experience. Even in this fantasy world, it feels real because, well, because we all struggle, we all make choices, and sometimes those choices have big consequences. And that idea that our choices matter, even when it seems like everything's against us, that's something people still connect with, even today.
And speaking of creating, the sources we have, they give us some insight into Tolkien's process, which is pretty fascinating. The Children of Húrin, it wasn't just written like that, it took decades. It started as a poem, then bits and pieces ended up in other stories, and finally it became the book we know today.
It's like the story itself was evolving, right? Growing alongside Tolkien as he figured out his world. He kept coming back to it, changing things, refining it. It must have been important to him, this story.
Absolutely. And there are these little details, they add so much depth.
Yeah.
Like the Helm of Ador, the Doorsmith Telstar made it, and it becomes this symbol,
Yeah.
hope, legacy passed down through generations. But it also plays a part in Turin's downfall, which is, well, kind of ironic, bittersweet.
Yeah, that helm, it's powerful, right? It represents history, responsibility, and that hope that even when things are bad, something good can survive. Oh, and the pronunciation guide. Tolkien actually made a guide for how to say all the names and places in his world. That's dedication right there. He wanted you to really experience it like you were there.
It's not just about making up a world, it's about making it feel real.
Hmm.
The language, the objects, the characters, it all adds up to something, well, something special. So we've taken this deep dive into the Children of Húrin. We've looked at everything, the characters, the plot, the themes, how it affected other stories, even how Tolkien created it.
Mm.
And what have we learned? Well, it's a story that makes you think, it breaks your heart, but in the end, it leaves you with this sense of wonder. It helps you understand what it means to be human a little bit better.
It's about the choices we make, the fight against darkness, and how love and hope, they can survive even the worst tragedy. So, as we wrap up our deep dive, I'll leave you with this. What about us? What about fate and free will in our own lives? Are we really in control, or are we, like the Children of Húrin, caught in something bigger than ourselves? Maybe the answer is somewhere in between, in the choices we make, the fights we choose, and the things we hold on to, even when it's dark. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Children of Húrin.